So today we are going to be building a 4-week strength and hypertrophy program for field-based athletes. So these athletes are aged between 18 and 22, and they're all part of a rugby academy. So we're going to be doing a 4-day split. So they're going to be doing 2 lower body sessions, 2 upper body sessions. So on the Monday, they are going to have a lower body strength and hypertrophy session. On the Tuesday, they're going to have an upper body strength and hypertrophy again. On the Wednesday, they're going to have a day off. On the Thursday, they are going to have a lower body strength and hypertrophy. And again, on the Friday, they're going to have an upper body strength and hypertrophy. Just so you know how this is going to go, on the Monday, they're going to have, it's going to be a knee dominant lower body strength and hypertrophy. And on the Thursday, it's going to be a hip dominant strength and hypertrophy session. So you'll see how I construct that as I move through the days. On a Tuesday, they're going to have a horizontal push-pull strength and hypertrophy session. And on the Friday, they're going to have a vertical push-pull strength and hypertrophy session. So let's get to building the actual program. So the first exercise is going to be a box squat, and we are going to give them 4 sets of 6 reps. It's going to be a primary exercise, going to be performed by itself. Rest time here is going to be around 120 seconds. Second exercise, we are going to give the athletes a Nordic hamstring curl. I'm going to give them 3 sets of 4 reps. Again, big on the time under tension here. No rest after this exercise because it's going to be supersetted with an additional exercise, which is going to be a lateral step up. Again, 3 sets, 6 reps each side. The tempo here, again, fairly strict on our tempo. And we're going to give them 60 seconds break after this. So this again is supersetted with the Nordic hamstring curls. Then we are going to move on to an iso hip push. So I have put a video in here for the athletes, but essentially you're looking at developing some isometric capacity in and around the distal part of the hamstring with this exercise. So we are going to go 3 sets of 20 seconds. And we're going to ask the athletes for in and around 70% effort on this exercise. This exercise is part of a tricep, so there's no rest period here. So this is the first exercise in the tricep. The second exercise in a tricep is a Copenhagen. Okay, I'm going to go Copenhagen short lever, which means that your shin runs at a 90-degree angle across the bench. I am going to go 8 reps each side. And no tempo, no rest here, that's fine. Again, second exercise in the tricep. And the last exercise here is just a standing calf raise. standing calf raise. Okay, rest time here, no more than 60 seconds, and 3 sets. Reps, 10 reps. Excellent. Okay, there we go. Strength and hypertrophy, lower body, knee dominant, day 1. Let's move on to day 2. So we are going to look at our vertical push-pull. We're going to start with our bench press. We are again going to go 4 sets, 6 reps. This is our primary lift. Our tempo, no rest time here because we are going to superset this push exercise with a pull exercise, and the pull exercise is going to be a bench pull. Okay, again 4 by 6 reps here. We want to give around 120 seconds rest after this. Tempo's fine there. Okay, the next superset is going to be dumbbell incline press. ISO incline dumbbell press. Right, let me explain to you why I've programmed this in for the athletes, because so I want them to, as they perform, so perform all reps on left arm while keeping right arm locked out with dumbbell. Then switch. So what I want the athletes to do here is I want them to perform all eight reps on the left side while they have their right arm locked out. And then once they're finished there, they can switch over to the opposite side. So I want them developing some stabilization in the shoulder and working on their isometric strength and stabilization capacity within their shoulders. They're doing this exercise. So 8 reps. This is part of the next superset, so it's fine. Then we are going to superset that exercise with some reverse flies. Incline reverse flies, again 3 sets, 10 reps. Rest time here, 60 seconds, keep it sharp. Okay, and finally the last 2 exercises, we're going to put in some French press. 3 sets, 10 reps. No rest time because it's supersetted with some hammer curls. So we're going to put in ISO hammer curls. And the reason why I'm going to put in ISO hammer curls is, again, so if we think about on the ISO dumbbell incline press, we're getting that stabilization through the back of the shoulder. And with the ISO dumbbell curls, the athletes are going to perform all 10 reps on one side while they're holding the dumbbell at a 90-degree angle on the other side. So again, they're getting some isometric stabilization work in the front of their shoulder and through the bicep. Perform. Excellent. So we're going to go 10 reps here. Tempo, don't worry about it. This is C. Rest time, sharp on the rest time, 60 seconds. Excellent. Okay, there we have our vertical push-pull session laid out. On the Wednesday, we have a day off. On the Thursday, we are going to get into our hip dominant lower body session. So that's going to look like we're going to start with an RDL, okay, and we are going to program in 4 sets, 6 reps, primary exercise, tempo, yep, we can work on that, rest time, again, around 120 seconds. The next exercise we are going to be doing is a Bulgarian. We're going to do 3 sets of 6 reps each side. This is going to be our second exercise. And we're going to superset this with some hip lifts. Some barbell hip lifts. Okay, 60 seconds, excellent. So we just jump back here to this exercise here, the barbell Bulgarian split squat. Okay, so hip dominant, which means that we don't want that knee to travel past the toe. We want all the force to be going to that hip area. Okay. Next, we are going to look at a tricep to finish. So we're going to look at a walking lunge, a dumbbell walking lunge, three sets. We are going to program in 6 reps each side. That is going to be C. And we are going to look at a seated iso calf raise again. This exercise is where the athlete just puts pressure against the bar that's underneath a rack, and you're holding that movement in full extension. The calf needs to be full extension for about 20 seconds. So we're going to do this for time, 20 seconds. And we are, second exercise in the tricep, and the last exercise, we're going to do some leg raise. Hanging leg raise, just to strengthen the hip flexors and the abdominal muscles. So 3 sets of 10 reps, and we are running 60-second rest after those 3 exercises. Excellent. So there we go. We have the the hip dominant, and again with the dumbbell walking lunge, make sure it's a hip dom movement, which essentially means that we don't want to be driving that knee past that toe. So that is our lower body hip dominant day. And then finally on the Friday, we have again upper body. So we're vertical push pull this day. So we are going to start with our military press. Okay, barbell. So the guys can get a little bit of load in there. We're going to go 4 sets, 6 reps. We are going to perform that with a pull-up. I'm going to give the guys pull-up clusters here. The reason I'm going to give them pull-up clusters is because a lot of my athletes are pretty heavy. So like multiple pull-ups for them, they struggle. Whereas if we give them clusters, so we give them a single, followed by a 5-second break, single, followed by a 5-second break. If they do that 5 or 6 times, they can lift some very heavy load and they can get through some volume with it being 6 reps. Perform 1 rep, rest for 5 seconds. Complete 6 reps in total. Okay, and that is again primary lift. About 120 seconds break between that. Excellent. Then we have a short lever. So we have a short lever lateral raise. The short lever lateral raise is just where you keeping your arm bent as you're performing the movement. Keep at 90 degrees. 3 sets of 10 reps. Tempo. And that is supersetted with, so that's our second exercise, that is supersetted with some shrugs, barbell shrugs. Barbell shrugs, 3 sets, 10 repetitions. And no more than 60 seconds. Rest after those couple of exercises. Okay, excellent. On to the last section here. We have some tricep dips. We're going to go 3 sets of 10 reps. And that is C, and we're going to superset that with, again, focus on the tempo here. We're going to superset that with some seated dumbbell curls. Three sets, 10 reps, strict on tempo, rest time 60 seconds. Now that we've completed our 4-day split for our athletes in terms of their resistance training, their strength and hypertrophy work, we've got to plug in some conditioning sessions for them to do outside of their structured rugby training. So Wednesday is a day off and Sunday is a day off as well. On Saturday, they have some field-based training. So they have pitch training. I'm going to put it down as game day. They don't have a game, but what they have is a high-intensity training day that mimics a game. So the amount of meters or high-speed meters is going to be relatively intense that day, and there's going to be a lot of on-feet running. They also have training on Monday and on Thursday. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in some tempo running, some aerobic pitch-based work for them on a Tuesday, and we're going to plug in some off-feet conditioning for them on the Friday. So let's start with the tempo work. So tempo running, we are going to prescribe them 100 meter run at 70% effort. Repeat every minute. Sorry, repeat every 45 seconds. perform 6 reps. So that is in total 600 meters, and in total complete 3 sets. So all in all, 1600 meters they're going to achieve in their session. Yep, time 45 seconds. Intensity, let's go percentage 70. Excellent. Okay, super. So there we have tempo running on the Tuesday, and on the Friday I'm going to give them a little bit of off-feet conditioning. So I'm going to give them a bike session to do. I'm going to ask them to perform 2 minutes at 70% effort with a 1 minute break. I'm going to get them to perform. I'm going to get them to do repeat 3 times. So that's in total 6 minutes work. Rest for 2 to 3 minutes. Perform 3 sets. So again, the reps are 3. The rest is 1 minute, 60 seconds. And the intensity, again, we're going to do percentage, 70% effort. So once they start going over 70%, it stops being aerobic work and starts to tap into their anaerobic development. So we want to keep this aerobically based. Again, 3 sets. Perfect. Okay, great. So they have their bike session programmed in for the Friday. They have their tempo running programmed in for the Tuesday. On the Monday, they got some pitch training. On the Thursday, they got some pitch training. They've got 4 days of strength and hypertrophy work, targeting every area of their body, focusing on push-pull with their legs, push-pull with their upper body, and that's what it looks like for the duration of their week. Before we move on to how we progressively overload the program week by week, I just want to add in an additional primer exercise for the athletes to do on their lower body day. So I am going to go with a body weight counter movement jump on their first lower body day. Body weight, I'm going to get them to do 3 sets of 4 reps. It's the very first exercise. So just to be clear on this is not an exercise for them to develop power. This is an exercise, it's acting as a potentiator for what's about to come in their lower body session. And it's more so about just micro dosing them with that movement pattern, because as we move through the programming blocks, this will become an intensification exercise where it'll be one of their prime power development exercises. So it's just giving them a little bit of exposure to it early on in the program. Sorry, that should be on the lower body day. Okay, and for their hip dominant day, I'm actually going to give them a little bit of hex bar jumping. Hex bar jump, and again, it's a little bit of loaded jumping this time. Just use bar weights. Again, 3 sets of 4 reps. So again, it's not a power development tool. It is a tool just to nearly cue them for what's about to come in the session and microdose them with that movement quality, which is going to be important to us down the line when it comes to developing power. Okay, so let's look at how we progressively overload this program over the next 3 weeks. So let us start with our lower body day. So if we copy this, Academy, if we copy it till to the following Monday, our lower body day, we jump in here, we are going to bring this rep up by 1, so increase the volume. We are going to decrease the rep here, so increase the intensity. I'm going to leave the, I am going to increase the Nordic curl as well, so increasing the volume. I'm going to leave the lateral step ups, I'm going to leave the iso push, and I am going to leave the Copenhagen's and the standing single leg raise. So if we copy that again to the following week, quickly go in, I'm going to bring this up to 6 reps. I am going to bring the intensity of the box squat down to 4 reps. I am going to increase the Nordic curl to 6 reps, so more volume. I'm going to leave the lateral step ups, and I am going to push the isometric, the iso hip push up to 25. I'm going to increase this to 9 reps, Copenhagen, and standing calf raise up to 11 reps. Okay, excellent. And for week number 4, okay, so for the last week in the exercise, for the last week in the program, I'm going to leave counter move and jump the same. I am going to increase the sets for the primary exercise, bring down the reps, increasing the volume. I'm going to leave the Nordic the same, I'm going to leave the lateral step up the same, I'm going to leave the iso the same. I'm going to slightly bring up the rep range in the Copenhagen and the calf raise. Okay, excellent. So that is progressive overload for day 1 of the program for 4 weeks complete. Okay, let's look at day 2, which is upper body. So we want to copy that, and how we are going to progressively overload them is as follows. We are going to decrease or increase the intensity for the primary lifts. That's always important, that's always a focus. And then we are going to increase the volume throughout the rest of the program. So alternating dumbbell presses are going to go up to 9. Reverse flies going to go up to 11. Seated dumbbell press, seated dumbbell French press, 11. Iso curls, bring them up to 11 as well. And with regard to the tempo run, so we're going to add an additional 300 meters by bringing the reps from 6 to 7 reps. Okay, excellent. So copy that out to the following week, which is the 27th. We are going to bring down the intensity of the primary lift, or we're going to bring up the intensity of the primary lift. And we're going to increase the volume, so the hypertrophy, for the remaining component of the program. And with regards to the tempo runs, again, we're going to give them an additional 300 meters to complete. So they are now completing 800 meters per set, 3 sets. So they're completing 2,400 meters. I hope my math is correct on that. And the last progressive overload for this day for the upper body day, we are going to bring it down to 3 reps. So pushing the intensity for the primary lifts, we are going to leave the volume the same on all the rest of the work, and we're just going to push out the tempo by 1 last repetition. So an additional, again, 300 meters on top of what they did last week. So 2,700 meters. Okay, so moving on to the second upper body day. Which is our, moving on to the second lower body day. Okay, so the exercises here, we're going to push up the volume a little bit on the loaded jump. We are going to bring down or increase the intensity on the RDL. I'm going to leave the Bulgarian split squat the same. I'm going to leave the barbell hip lift the same. I'm going to leave the dumbbell walking lunge the same. And I'm going to leave the iso calf raise and the hanging leg raise the same. Again, push the first exercise, the volume, increase the intensity of the second exercise. I'm also going to bring the hip lifts, the volume of the hip lifts up a little bit. And the walking lunge I'm going to leave. I'm going to increase the iso calf work a little bit. Time under tension. I can bring the hanging leg raise up slightly as well. So I'm going to leave the first exercise at 6 repetitions for the loaded jump. And I'm going to increase the sets. So push the volume, increase the intensity as well for our primary exercise, RDL. Bulgarians, I'm going to leave the same. Hip lift, I'm going to bring it up to 10 repetitions. So you can see the increases are very small and incremental. Dumbbell lunge, I'm going to leave the same. ISO, I'm going to leave the same. Leg raise, we're just going to bring that up 1 rep. Okay, excellent. That's our lower body day done. And then on to the last day, which is our horizontal push-pull day. So sorry, this should be 6 reps. On the next exercise, we should be bringing this down to 5 reps. Now the clusters, again, yep, I'm going to bring the reps down a little bit there. So increase the intensity. They might be able to lift. The short lever lateral raise, I will leave at 10. The barbell shrugs, I will leave at 10. The dips, I will leave at 10. The seated curl, I will leave at 10. The bike, what we're going to do is we are going to increase the reps. So we have an additional 6 minutes of work. Over the duration of their off-feet conditioning session. Okay, we're going to bring this down to 4 repetitions, so increase the intensity. Again, pull-ups, yep, down to 4, increase the intensity. And we can start to push out the volume a little bit on all the additional exercises. And with the bike, again, we're going to push the reps here, so an additional 6 minutes of work. And finally, we're going to be pushing the intensity at 3 reps on the military press, pushing the intensity at 3 reps on the cluster pull-ups, and pushing out the volume slightly on all the additional exercises. Finally, one last push, an additional 6 minutes. It's a lot of work. It's about 30-40 minutes work, conditioning work they have off feet. Okay, so there we have it, folks. Okay, so there we have it, guys. We have our 4-week block put into place. where there's clear progressive overload leading from 1 week into the next. The main focus is developing strength, followed by hypertrophy at the back end of the program. We have a 4-day split, 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days, and we have a little primer at the start of the lower body days, and we finish with some conditioning after our upper body days. If you guys want any more information on this program or actually want access to this program, please reach out to me at Shane Cowell at apeccourses.com.